Will I be staying in Florida past April? It's a tough question to answer. Hey everyone, Dave K here, and today I want to answer the question that I know so many of you have been asking: am I staying in Florida through and past April? And it's a tricky question to answer. I think it's kind of been known that there's been some challenges going on in terms of scheduling and that sort of thing for me, but obviously new issues have arisen right now. There's challenges that make things a little bit difficult for us, and obviously a lot of people are impacted by the current situation, right? The biggest kind of challenge in the current situation for me, and I think for most people right now, is this overall illness situation with the world going on right now. And that impacts a lot of people's jobs and a lot of people's opportunities, and I know that can be very challenging for many, so I want to make sure that everybody's taking care of themselves and doing what they need to do, and hopefully can bring some positivity to you, just to remind you that it's important to always try to bring a smile to your face where you can. But that is also obviously an impact here on my work side and trying to figure out what things look like for me in the coming months. So the current situation has a lot of impact for a lot of different people, and that includes me, and I want to talk about a couple of those different ways that that impact exists. One, obviously, there's always the question of just general funding, right? And a lot of people are going out less and spending less money. This is impacting businesses. Businesses are having less money to be able to hire people or have people work, so I know a lot of people are going through some very challenging times in terms of not having jobs or that sort of thing. And again, hoping everybody the best luck, wishing you the best, and continuing to move through that. But that is kind of a challenge, right? It's the question of, will there be work opportunities? Will I continue to have work opportunities? You may know, for me, as I've mentioned, is the work that I do kind of goes in these quarterly periods, right? It's a period of time where I'm doing work and I'm saying, okay, for the next 3 months, I'm going to be doing this, and yes, I can do it in this location. And so obviously, given the current situation, that does leave things sort of subject to change or subject to be variable. So it's very unclear for me at the present time. The short answer, if you're looking for a short answer, is I can't say for certain one way or another. I feel pretty good, pretty confident about that I'll be here at least through May, in the sense that I'll be able to continue to work again, and most of the work that goes on right now, I'm thinking for most companies, is kind of remote in that sense. So I'm thinking I'll be able to continue to work in that way through May, because travel just probably doesn't make that much sense right now. I know a lot of states and a lot of cities, especially, again, considering San Francisco has completely issued that shelter-in-place order, and people aren't going out except for the essentials, the necessities. So I'm imagining that would be probably unlikely for me to be traveling over the course of May to head back in that direction. So I'm thinking that chances are probably pretty likely that I'll be here through May, but there are a lot of other variables to be considered, right? Obviously, we need to coordinate some sort of work situation and hope everything works out okay in that sense. Obviously, there's a continuation of a variety of different options. Can I keep doing the work that I'm doing? How long would that last? That kind of thing. Maybe that'll change, or maybe that'll fluctuate. Maybe the information that I'll have, instead of being in 3-month cycles, is kind of, as I'm saying right now, is like, here's my prediction for the next month, and I can't even say for sure what things will look like, because you never know what happens to different companies in terms of having income and being able to spend on different things and being able to hire people for different roles, having priorities the way that they are. So this is all sort of factors that go into my working and being able to kind of help the world and help businesses as I'm going about my day-to-day and working. So that's kind of the short version. So the fact of the matter is, I can't quite confidently say, here's to another 3 months like I've been able to do for the past few cycles. But, you know, we're going to make the most of the situation, enjoy the time we have, look back on positive memories, and make the most of every day, and charge forward in life with that positivity, that mental attitude to drive things forward. And I want to be able to bring that positivity to you too. So I'm thinking, again, continuing to focus more on some of that health, some of that positivity, and touching on some of those things that I think that really make my day better in terms of a positivity perspective. So I'm looking forward to sharing all kinds of fun with you coming up, but that's the situation as it is. Now, another thing I wanted to speak to on that, and I want to tell you sort of what my thoughts are like during this time. And the very first thoughts that came to my mind were, you know, I'm so fortunate to have the opportunities that I have had, to have had the work that that I've had in the past to have been very stable, and to be able to continue to work in a way where I'm constantly developing and growing my skills, right? I've been able to work since I graduated from school, and I'm very fortunate in that sense. And I'm so fortunate that I'm thinking about these things in this way as well. To me, this is one of the biggest components, one of the biggest priorities, is that mindset. The first thing that comes to mind is, okay, I don't know what things are going to look like, but I'm so fortunate it's worked out the way it has up until this point. I'm fortunate that I've gained the experiences that I've had the income that I've had, and been able to take care of myself and support myself and that kind of thing. And so obviously things are subject to change. We don't know where things will end up. We don't know how risky it'll be or what kind of position I'll find myself in the coming months, or even in the coming weeks here, but we'll have to see. But again, the fact that I can have that positive mindset and continue to have a goal in mind and charge towards that goal and not let stress get to me and not let panic get to me is something that I'm truly one of the things I'm most grateful for. And this is a mindset that I've had to continue to build and program into myself over the last several months. You know, I'm always trying to share positivity and show fun, different things, but life happens, right? There are ups and there are downs to life, and that's the way that life goes. And this is not in context of the illness and the current situation. It's just life in general, and there are ups and downs in life, and how you deal with those situations kind of defines who you are as a person, right? Obviously, we're all, again, going to have ups and downs. They may be different for some comparatively to others. Some people may not have their jobs versus some people may just be working more. But there are ups and downs in life, and how you handle it is such a defining part of how your life goes, right? If you feel yourself getting stressed, if you allow yourself to get upset and be down all the time, that can negatively impact the work that you do and the life that you live. And so the fact that I'm able to kind of positively look back on the experiences that I've had and charge forward with a positive mindset and kind of doing the best I can to create a clear target and achieve that target moving forward is something that I'm very, very grateful for. And hopefully you can kind of keep that in mind as you're trying to bring that positive mindset to yourself as well. What can you do to remind yourself that it's important to look at things from a positive lens and drive with that kind of positivity and that direction, and that charge, not letting the sort of sadness or the panic kind of detract you from whatever your goal might be. So I've also been fortunate to have the opportunity to do a variety of different types of work. I've had work that's been everywhere from computer type-based work, and I've also done work that's been physically moving around packages and boxes and that kind of thing. So I've had a wide variety of range of jobs over the course of my short career so far, and I've been fortunate to again try a variety of different things and work in a variety of different spaces, which allows me maybe a little bit more flexibility when it comes to potentially, if I find myself in a challenging situation where I'm not working, to be able to try to kind of coordinate and figure out what works for me. But I want to kind of speak to you as well and how you can do that. And taking your experience, let's say you've only really had one job. Although you've been having one job, let's say, for example, that you were doing computer work and you were doing data management or something along those lines. Well, there's several different ways you can look at it. You can say, well, I have computer experience, I have IT experience, but I also have experience with data and with numbers, and that means I also have experience with business. You can kind of take that experience, that work, and tie it in several different lenses. And I know not everybody has that opportunity and that experience to be able to tie that in that way. Some of us, maybe your experience is only applicable to one particular field, or you can't have quite as much luck when it comes to kind of tying that experience and trying to bring it to a variety of different lenses. But that's the way that I look about my work, and that's something that potentially, if you have the opportunity, I'd encourage you to do as well, as say, okay, how can I take the work that I've done and frame it in a way where it's applicable to a variety of different types of work, so I could potentially find what I'm looking for or something else if I find myself in that situation where I'm not working presently. Again, I know it's a big risk factor right now for a lot of different people. This is an unprecedented situation in a lot of different ways, and the fact that we haven't had quite as much kind of restrictions in terms of our going outside and that sort of mobility. But we're also very fortunate in that our technology is where it is, right? I've got this camera and I've got my cell phone and my computer, and I'm able to spend that time doing work, for example, on my computer and online, and be able to communicate with people that way and deliver value to businesses and to people that way too. So there are challenges, obviously, and there's a lot of things that create unprecedented situations, but at the same time, there's always a lot of positives. You can always find a bright side to your situation. I want to say at least most of the time. Maybe I shouldn't say all the time, finding a bright side to your situation. But if you're in a position to be able to think about that situation, maybe that's a bright side right there. So it's something to think about. But overall, again, I know there's a lot of challenges going on for a lot of people. This is kind of where I'm at right now. Is I think I will be able to stick around for a while, at least during the course of the current situation, while we're restricted and we're not spending any time outside, which I'm hardly going outside at all. I did do some grocery shopping a few weeks back, but pretty much lately it's been all indoors because I want to make sure we're taking care of ourselves. And I'm thinking, again, given that situation, I can't see myself really doing any traveling for business need or otherwise, but I mean, you never know what things are going to look like. We'll have to see what things look like moving forward, but I'm not envisioning that I'm going to be moving around or doing much travel over the course of the next month or so. So that's my guess through May in order to answer your question of am I sticking around past April. It's not an ideal situation. I know for many of us, we're all kind of running into these challenges. But again, I encourage you to try to look for the positive. I encourage you to try to look for the bright side, make the most of your situation, and do whatever you can do to bring a smile to your face, whether that's watching videos, spending times with family, eating food, or maybe enjoying some animals. You spend time with pets, or look at some zoo videos online. Saw a really nice one with penguins running around a zoo. You maybe have seen that video as well. That one's been all over the place at this point on the news and everywhere else. Whatever you can do to try to drive that positivity to yourself. I think that's the right way to look at the situation. Obviously, you want to be cautious as well, right? I'm avoiding going outside at all as much as possible, making sure that I'm washing my hands and that sort of thing, taking care of myself from a cleanliness perspective and doing everything I can. But again, that's the update in terms of am I sticking around through and past April. I really don't know what the future is going to look like. I'm just trying to make the most of every day and every moment, and I'm so glad to be able to share this time and these experiences with you. And so I thank you so much again for spending time with me and listening to kind of what's going on in my life, being a part of these adventures, and just overall all of your comments, all of your support, and being a part of the fun. So what do you think of this update? Was it what you were expecting? It's not what I was expecting at all. I was hoping to have some great news and, you know, at least some clarity at this point. And I think this is just the reality of the situation right now for a lot of people. We're in a tricky time that we weren't expecting to run into. It's just kind of the fact of the matter right now. And again, we're going to do the best we can to make the most of every day and to make the most of the situation. I hope you're able to charge forward positively as well. Thank you so much again for being a part of the fun with me. And if you haven't already, consider hitting that subscribe button and ring the bell to stay informed of future videos and adventures. And until next time, play on.